Cars are known for one thing: losing value. They depreciate, cost a fortune, and then drain your wallet faster than any bad car lease deal. But what if I told you that a small group of people are secretly turning cars, yes, the exotic and classic ones, into money-making machines? They're not collecting them for status, but they're collecting them as business assets. So let's break down how people are actually earning money from cars, and how you can start thinking about vehicles more than just transportation. Let's start off with the rise of car investments. We've reached a point to where cars aren't just about horsepower. It's about return on investment. Collectors, entrepreneurs, and even individual investors are seeing them more like alternative investments. And we all know that the stock market swings every single day due to market volatility. But think about a Ferrari, a Porsche, or even a Shelby that might appreciate every single year. The shift is simple. People want assets that they can see, touch, and enjoy. And it's not just about wealth. It's about lifestyle equity. If this sparks something in you, then keep watching, because once we explain how you can make money off cars, you'll never see them the same way again. Flipping cars into profit. Flipping is the most hands-on play. You'll see an undervalued or distressed vehicle, dress them up, and then flip them for profit. But the pros that are out here doing this, they don't guess, they analyze. They know which car models are trending. They know which production years are scarce as well. And they find the undervalued gems and where they're being stored so they can sell them. Think about a classic vehicle like a 90s Supra or Acura. They might go for $25,000 selling price today, but they easily will jump up to $60,000 once nostalgia spikes. But here's the thing, the math only works once you buy them under market. And once you buy them, you fix them with precision and then resell them once you know it's true market value. But what's the takeaway? Buy stories. Don't buy still. A car with culture always beats a car with just looks. Because if that Porsche is sitting there but nobody wants it, then you've just wasted your money. But if this section has made you pause and think, that's a good sign, because most people chase trends, but real investors chase timing. And that right there, my friend, is where you can start separating a hobby and start creating a business. Classic cars and long-term investments. Classic cars behave like fine art. The rarer they get, the more valuable they become. Collectors look for legacy. First-gen Mustangs, vintage Ferraris, and Mercedes SLs. Once the parts are discounted, only a few models remain. And then once you blend that with scarcity, that drives prices through the roof. The thing about investing, and especially investing with cars, is that patience drives wealth. Because the best investors that are in this game hold cars for 10 to 20 years minimum. They keep the records, they maintain the logs, and then they place them in pristine storage conditions. When nostalgia meets rarity, they cash out big. And if you want to build wealth the quiet way, this is it. There's no flash, no hype, just strategy and patience. Because this is the kind of discipline that separates builders from spenders. Now let's dig into exotic and luxury rentals. Believe it or not, there's a hybrid play, and it's called luxury rentals. The big dog investors that have a lot of cash on hand buy cars like Lamborghinis and McLarens. And then they rent them out for photo shoots, music videos, and then high-end events. And yes, they rent them out to your favorite influencer too. A $200,000 car can easily bring in $3,000 a week if it's managed right. But you must do it right. But here's the key. Smart insurance. Make sure they don't cost you a lot, but they also mitigate your risk. Number 2, strict vetting. Make sure the car is valued before you list it on the market. And then number 3, strategic partnerships. These should be with agencies or studios or referrals to other places that will rent your cars. And also, some of the big dogs will even list their cars on Turo too. And if they don't go with Turo, they'll list them out on production sets too, just for exposure and attention. And then that attention converts into income later on. But here's the thing. Platforms like Turo will eat into your profits. But as a finance bro, I recommend, if you have a lot of cash on hand, to only go on Turo if you can sustain it long term. And the reason I say that is because Turo has a lot of fees built in. And if you're only looking to get your name out there, it's worth the play. But if you're someone who loves both cars and cash flow, this strategy blends both worlds perfectly. But if you're also thinking differently about money, that's on purpose, because here at Money Talks Media, we break down plays that no one else talks about. So if you're ready to see business behind the lifestyle, then hit that like and subscribe so that you can join us for the journey. Thanks for committing. Let's go ahead and lock back in. So where do you store these cars? Here's where most people overlook. storage. You can't just park these six-figure assets on the street. I mean, unless you don't want them to be there the next day. Investors use climate control storages or store them at private car clubs. These private car clubs offer secure bay access, maintenance, and even a network access. And in major cities, these private car clubs can run between $300 to $1,000 a month. But it could be worth it because it protects your car value and keeps it show ready. Think of it as preserving your profit before it's even realized. So before buying your first investment car, ask yourself, where will it live and how will it be protected? That question alone separates the pros from the amateurs. And since this is Money Talks Media, we must talk about money. So how do you price cars the right way? Pricing is where most new investors slip up. But your first move is to start watching the following platforms closely. Number one, Bring a Trailer. This is a popular online auction site for classic and collection cars. Number two, Hemmings. This is a mix of online listings and then old school cars. And then number three, your local auctions. These are either in person in your local city or they're regional auto auctions. So while you're on those platforms, do your due diligence. And so what this means is you study past sales, compare the mileage, condition, and then owner history. You buy below market, restore lightly, and then resell on the market depending on the value. Flippers aim between 20 to 30% margin after all expenses are paid for and covered. And then long-term big dog investors focus on intrinsic value. And intrinsic value thinks long-term. What's on the top of their mind is thinking what a collector would pay 5 to 10 years from the time of purchase. And then they're also thinking about supply and demand. When will supply likely dry up? Because when supply goes down, demand goes up and profit increases. The key is to see value way before anyone else does. And that's the skill that prints money in this game. The risk, most investors ignore. Every play that I give you has a risk, but cars are no exception. Insurance premiums that you're looking for, they're going to be steep because risk is high. And you can't forget about maintenance. Things happen every single day. And then market sentiment changes very quickly. And that means it can be very volatile, especially when hype or nostalgia fades. The smart players build a financial cushion. This just means having cash on hand. So that means you should have 3 to 6 months worth of business expenses sitting in a business high yield savings account making interest that's ready for anything that comes up, because you're going to need liquidity for repairs that just happen to your cars, and then you're going to need money to cover damage and theft that may happen too. And also you need that cushion to carry any type of car payments in case demand starts to decrease. If you take one thing from this section, remember this: profit means nothing if you can't protect it. This means building your safety net before you start building your car collection. Now let's wrap this up to how to build and diversify your car portfolio as a beginner. The key is to start small. Don't buy your dream car first. Buy a smart one. Diversifying looks like purchasing your first $15,000 Mazda for a car project flip, or that looks like a restored classic Mustang that you can rent out part-time. The goal is to learn the cycle: acquisition, maintenance, marketing, and then reselling. Because once you understand how your first deal or one deal works, then you expand your portfolio. You can use one car for flipping and then another car for holding. And then you'll add on another one for constant rental income. And that balance protects you from market dips, but also builds multiple streams of cash flow. It's just like in this video above, when I talk about multiple streams of income within your personal finances, the same way works with revenue. Next up, what you should do is either tap into your existing network or build a new one. So this means join collector clubs or network at local shows. And what this does is it makes you get familiar with the auction culture. The deeper your relationships, the more insider opportunities you get. Because in this world, relationships make you rich before appreciation does. Because if you really want to understand how relationships work, then check out this video above and it will really tell you how to maximize your net worth through existing relationships. Because the people who win in this game aren't just car lovers. They're investors who study their moves before they make it. So study the market to protect your investments and then keep stacking knowledge over time. Because once you do, your garage portfolio can start stacking multiple streams of income before you know it. But as always, take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.